So Ghana's government is making a really bold move to get a handle on its digital future. There's a new bill on the table that's set to create a single, powerful gatekeeper for all public technology spending. Today, we're going to break down this Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in ICT bill and figure out what it all means for the nation's tech scene. Okay, so what exactly is the problem this bill is trying to solve? We'll kick things off there. Then we'll unpack the solution and the powerful new role of the Kofi Annan Center. We'll also get into who's in charge, where the money's going, and what this whole centralized approach could mean for Ghana's digital future. Let's get into it. All right, first up, let's talk about the core problem. To really get why this bill even exists, you have to understand a challenge that a lot of growing nations are facing when it comes to technology. This question right here, this is the heart of the matter. Just imagine for a second every single government agency running its own tech projects, doing its own thing. What you end up with is wasted money, duplicated efforts, and just a messy patchwork of systems that can't even talk to each other. This bill is basically Ghana's big answer to preventing that kind of digital chaos. So, how do you fix that chaos? Well, the government's answer is one word: centralization. The big idea here is to empower one single institution to oversee, coordinate, and standardize every single tech initiative across the whole public sector. The bill officially establishes the center as a body corporate. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, in simple terms, it gives the center its own legal personality. This means it can own property, it can sign contracts, and it can operate independently, almost like a private company would. And when you look at these core functions, you start to see the sheer scale of the center's new mandate. I mean, it's not just a think tank or some training school. It's being set up to be an advisor, a standard setter, and even an international representative. But look at that fifth point: gatekeeping all public ICT funding. That one, that's the real game changer. Okay, so this whole gatekeeper role, this brings us to what's probably the most powerful and maybe even the most controversial part of this bill: the huge amount of authority the center is about to have over the entire public sector. Here is the crucial shift. If any government agency, and I mean any, from a big national ministry all the way down to a small local office, wants to fund a tech project or train its staff, it can't just do it anymore. From now on, it is legally required to go through the Kofi Annan Center first. Period. So, how do they enforce this? Through something called a no objection certificate, which, let's be honest, is basically a permission slip. Before any funding gets the green light, the center checks if a project is solid, if it makes financial sense, and most importantly, if it actually lines up with Ghana's national digital strategy. Think of it like a final quality control check before any taxpayer money gets spent. And believe me, this mandate has teeth. The bill is super clear. Any public institution that tries to bypass this process is committing an offense, and the penalty is a fine of up to 5,000 penalty units. That's a hefty 60,000 Ghanaian cedis, which makes it crystal clear that compliance is not optional. Okay, so whenever you concentrate this much power in one place, the next logical question is, right, who's actually running the show, and what's to stop them from abusing that power? Well, the center is overseen by a governing board appointed by the president, and you can see the composition is designed to be pretty diverse, pulling people from government, technical education, academia, and the private tech world. And what's really important is that the bill explicitly mandates gender inclusion, requiring at least 3 women on the board. And these board members are held to a really high standard, pretty much the same legal duties as the director of a company. They have to act in the center's best interest. And if they don't, if they use their position for personal gain or cause a financial loss through carelessness, they face some serious fines themselves. We're talking up to 72,000 Ghanaian cedis. All right, all this power, all this public money, that brings up another huge question. How do you make sure the finances are transparent? When you're dealing with public funds, having a clear, auditable money trail is absolutely non-negotiable. So the bill sets up a very clear chain of accountability. The board keeps the books, and then the independent auditor general comes in to audit them every year. That audit report goes to the supervising minister, who then has to submit it along with the center's own annual report directly to Parliament. So you've got these multiple layers of oversight going all the way up to the highest legislative body in the country. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. Why go through all this trouble to create this powerful, centralized body?
What is the ultimate vision? What's the end game?
At its heart, this is a strategic shift from, well, fragmentation to unity. The guiding theory is pretty simple. By having one expert body steering the ship, Ghana can get way more value for its money, build a more coherent digital infrastructure, and make sure every single tech project is pulling the country towards the same national goals.
And this really is the fundamental question that's going to define whether this whole thing is a success. Centralization can bring incredible efficiency and focus, but there's always a risk. Will the center be agile enough to approve good projects quickly, or will its no objection process become a new bureaucratic hurdle that actually stifles the very innovation it's supposed to encourage? The answer to that is going to shape Ghana's digital destiny for years to come.